This presentation was recorded at the Best Practices for Pollinators Summit. For more information, contact pollinatorfriendly.org.
Hello, and welcome to the annual Best Practices Summit. I'm Craig Hansen, Board Chair of Pollinator Friendly Alliance. As in past years, the summit will provide you with valuable and timely information through our outstanding presentations. With the summit, we strive to share innovative tactics and tools for best practices from experts in the field. Our overall goal is to protect and restore pollinators through conservation and the restoration of biodiversity. Pollinator Friendly Alliance is a grassroots 501c3 nonprofit whose goal is to protect the natural world through the conservation of pollinators. Co-host is the Xerxes Society, a science-based nonprofit that protects wildlife through the conservation of invertebrates and their habitats. We want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who support this conservation work. To the volunteers, the staff, the donors, we deeply appreciate your support and assistance.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to you all in California, Portland, Boulder, New York, Madison, Minnesota, and around the US and Canada. Can everybody hear me okay? We're excited to get started. I'm Laurie Schneider with Pollinator Friendly Alliance. We at Pollinator Friendly and at the Xerxes Society for Invertebrates are happy to co-host the Best Practices for Pollinators Summit. We are coming to you from the St. Croix River Valley, which borders Minnesota and Wisconsin. And we would like to acknowledge that we are on the homelands of the Dakota and Ojibwe peoples. The Dakota and Ojibwe people have lived in this region for thousands of years, and their sovereign nations predate the United States. We honor the Dakota and Ojibwe people's history on this land, their painful past and sacrifices, and we honor their continued contributions today. Our goal with the Best Practices Summit is to create a community of care around pollinators. What we all do for keystone species like pollinators is also great for the environment. We are witness to a world that is changing drastically. The loss of animal species, degradation of land and biodiversity, climate change, these are not small tasks to take on. So we must support one another in this work. 50 years ago, we saw clouds of monarchs overhead, fields full of lightning bugs, car windshields covered in insects. The trend for data as the only measure of species abundance misses out on anecdotes from the past. Dr. Daniel Pauly says that anecdotes from the past are important benchmarks. So community science counts and monitoring have become more important than ever as we face loss of species, and data is needed to prove it. The fact that each and every one of you showed up here to do this important work today is hopeful. Humans may have caused environmental crisis, and humans can also build systems that can protect and expand those very things that give us life. Dr. Diana Beresford Krieger lectures on the wisdom of the past as the key to the Earth's future. We tend to forget about the past and ancient technologies. Near Mexico City, they placed ag fields where water already exists in this chinampa. The people adapted and worked with the water rather than forcing the water to change its path. This agroforestry system uses an ancient model that is good for any swampy area. It's resilient and applies permaculture and ecological design to an ancient system to solve modern problems. In Willamette Valley, Oregon, they're growing native willow to repair ecosystems sustainably with living fences. This ancient method of coppice culture cuts the willow in a way that encourages new growth. That live willow is then weaved upright and filled with soil behind to allow it to root. It's called willow spiling. Those living fences prevent erosion along shorelines, and willow offers habitat, sequesters carbon, and the leafy branches offer high food value for grazing animals. Indigenous people lit fires for millennia as a way of managing landscapes, prevents trees from taking over grasslands, and transforms dead plant tissues into nutrient-dense ash for healthy soil. Dr. Leila June challenges humans to tap into and align with the forces of nature by expanding habitat to bring back those keystone mammals that co-evolved with the plants and grasslands. A living management system helps return land into healthy, complex ecosystems and food webs. From pollinators to starfish to snowshoe hares, keystone species all play an important role. When a beaver moves in, the dam they build helps hold essential waters in place, keeping water from drying up or running off, and also provide important habitats for other aquatics like steelhead. Beaver dams and ponds keep the nearby soil moist and vegetation alive. These traits in turn help to prevent wildfires and even droughts. Here's a quote from author and researcher Anne Vinehouse on eco-justice. Aiming for sustainability is not only something we only owe each other as fellow human beings, but also something we owe other creatures with which we share this one planet. Now, I'd like to briefly showcase just a few heroes doing interesting conservation work. During the summit, we strive to offer ideas that can help pave the way for risk-taking. Start your own conservation experiments at work, in your community, and in your backyard. The White Buffalo Land Trust is an invitation to participate in the regeneration and healing of the earth. The trust is a leader in regenerative ag and land stewardship in California. They do boots on the ground research and education on regenerative ag and biodiverse land stewardship. They're committed to the evolution of land stewardship and reimagining our food system. The climate land leaders bring together landowners and farmers who are making bold changes and taking risks, using ancient tactics and new technologies on their lands to reduce emissions, store more carbon in soils and plants, and help ensure that farms in rural communities are increasingly resilient. Their network hooks up people who can support and learn from one another. The Endangered Species Coalition mission is to stop the human-caused extinction of U.S. at-risk species. They work to safeguard and strengthen the Endangered Species Act through campaigns such as the 50th anniversary mural project. Enel Energy is facilitating the move towards sustainable energy worldwide by putting people and the environment first. Their solar design for 3 million acres combines solar energy, pollinator habitat, and monitoring and sustainable ag in one place. The Aurora Solar Farm in Minnesota was the first to adopt this model. Pollinators and habitats support biodiversity and soil health, which contributes to the productivity of neighboring farms. So I hope you'll be inspired with the new ideas and energized to do the good work that's meaningful to you and impactful for healthy environment and pollinator survival. Now let's get to the summit. I'm sure you've noticed by now the webinar format is set up classroom style, so chat and audio are turned off. At any time, you can find the schedule for all 3 days at pollinatorfriendly.org/summit. You can also find speakers' bios, contact info, and companion materials for their talks on this page. So